are you?
Okay, Anna, let's see if we can figure this out here.
Okay.
Okay. Where are my abilities to play with things here?
I think I'm still logged in as you too.
Are you really? Are we both?
See if it says your name under me. I tried to join. Yeah.
Okay, so can you do what you need to do? Can you see where you can?
I can see all the functions, so it just says that I'm you, which is awesome.
Okay, so we're both me, so that's great. That's really funny. Okay, so can you do your share your screen thing that you need to do?
Oh. Can you see it okay?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. And then I just have a little stop, so. All right.
Okay, we'll give people a few more minutes to join here and then we'll get going. Hi, Jenny. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, Angie.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Hi, Jenny. How are you?
We're doing good.
Guests are still feeling disease.
Okay. So it's kind of your call. Anna, do you want to get started right on time or do you want to give people a few more minutes? What do you want to do?
I'm okay to wait a couple minutes if you think
Okay.
people coming on. Yeah.
All right, let's give people a few minutes then. Okay, we've got a couple more. Whenever you want to go, Anna, is fine.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
All right. Should we go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm so happy to be here with all of you tonight. I'm thankful for Angie giving me this great opportunity to share a little bit about what it means to treat yourself with kindness. And she's been treating us with all of these fantastic recipes for the holidays. And now we're going to talk a little bit tonight about some qualities and principles that we can use to help treat ourselves with kindness. So again, I'm Anna Molgard. I am the owner of Flowing Tree Yoga. I'm a yoga therapist. So I've had extensive training beyond just my first yoga certification and how to use the different various tools of yoga to help the body to find connection and healing. So I'll be sharing some tools of yoga tonight with you that maybe are a little different than you traditionally associate with yoga. A lot of times we think it's just doing poses and moving the body, and we'll do some of that. But I'll be sharing some other tools of yoga, the yoga tradition, and specifically yoga therapy to help us to connect with bodies. So we're going to start with a reflection. So if you'd like, kind of sitting comfortably in your seat, whatever works for you, your eyes can close or just gaze gently downward, or you can watch on the screen. We're just going to do a little kind of a body scan, a little reflection to see what we notice and feel and sense about what's happening in our own bodies. So let's just take a moment to connect with our feet, okay? We'll take some time. Just notice the bottom of your feet. Feel and sense the heels, the toes, the outer arches, the inner arches. And just feel and sense and notice what's happening. What are you feeling in your feet right in this moment? And then we'll begin to draw the awareness into the hands, and we'll begin to feel and sense the palms of the hands. And then draw the awareness to the back of the hands. And then notice the thumbs. And then the first finger, second, third, and fourth fingers. Draw the awareness into the left hand. Feel the whole left hand. And then feel and notice the right hand, the whole right hand. And then take a moment to sense both hands together. And then begin to draw the awareness up to the head. Notice how the head feels, sitting on the shoulders, maybe adjusting it to feel a little bit more comfortable, a little more relaxed and restful. Perhaps moving the head gently from side to side until you feel a point of balance. And then feel and sense, starting at the feet, moving up the legs, up the hips, the torso, into the shoulders, down the arms, feeling the hands, And then sensing the neck and the head. Just feeling the whole body. And begin to ask the question, if my body were a building, what would that building look like? What image comes to you? What structure? Maybe imagining what it's made of, where it would be in the world. See the outside of the structure, and then notice the inside of the structure. What is the furniture? What is it decorated with? How many rooms? Just feel and notice those details. And then as you feel ready, beginning to just move the fingers and the toes. Drop the head from side to side. And then slowly allow the eyes to open. So why don't, if you have a moment, drop into the chat box and see if you can share with me what your structure was. What was your image? I can't find the chat box. Oh no. I might have to unmute you so you can just tell me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, now I see it. Does anyone have anything to share in the chat box? What was your image? What was your building? You see where to type that in? Anybody want to share? Okay, so someone shared that theirs was kind of bizarre and big and rubbery, but then it ended up kind of beautiful and pretty with grass and flowers. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? The image that they came to them. Oh, someone just found it. A house. Good. So someone visualized the house. Great. Anyone else? Okay. So we are going to be talking about a fundamental tenet of yoga philosophy that has to do with this idea of the body being likened to a structure. So from the yogic perspective, BKS Iyengar was one of the prominent yoga teachers. He taught fairly often that the body is a temple. He said, your body is a temple. He advised us to keep it pure and clean for the soul to reside in. So we're going to be talking today or this evening about what that means, that when we can start to visualize and imagine our body being a temple, what that does for us. So I wanted to share a little bit about my journey as a yoga therapist. I spent several weeks at an ashram, which is a Hindu temple in Austin, Texas. This is a picture. The name is the Radha Madhav Dham Ashram in Austin, Texas. And I was there last summer, a year ago, last summer, for 2 weeks. And it is one of the largest Hindu temples in all of the United States. And we lived, if you look kind of right here, this big beautiful structure is the temple. And then right along the side, you can kind of see some rooms that look like hotels. That's where we stayed. That's where we slept, and then we went and ate and did our training back here in this building behind the temple. But here's another view. This is from a big mountain. This is part of the property. There were several acres of property that we could hike on and swim, and there was a beautiful river there. And it was just a beautiful, beautiful place. And this is actually the view from my room where I stayed. I could look right out and see the temple from when I walked out. So because we were staying and training on these temple grounds, this kind of sacred ground, there were some rules and regulations that they asked us to abide by. And one of them was that we dressed modestly. We couldn't have any, our shoulders showing or our legs showing. And if we ever went in the temple, they actually had us cover our head. We were invited a couple of times to come and join in some of their activities. They only allowed vegetarian food on the temple grounds. That's part of their religious tradition. So we weren't allowed to have any animal products or meat on the temple grounds. There was a lot of singing and chanting that happened in the temple and around the temple. The grounds were quiet. We were supposed to be kind of quiet on the grounds when we were walking in between our classes. And there were peacocks all over the temple grounds, and they just wandered all over the grounds. They were everywhere while we were walking. There were no shoes worn in any of the buildings. So we had to remove our shoes before we went even into our rooms, for our lodging rooms. And the workers opened the windows every morning to let the light in. And it was very early, right before the sunrise, so that the sun would come in and light the temple. And the last thing that was pretty interesting was that it was surrounded by gates. So the only people that were allowed into the temple grounds, you had to be on a list. They had to have your name, and then they would allow you to come in, and they only allowed invited guests to come onto the grounds and onto the temple. So let's talk a little bit about some of these guidelines and what they have to do with our bodies and how we kind of connect with our bodies. So let's think about this idea of modest clothing. That's part of their tradition. But I want you to just invite you to think about, do we view the body as sacred? Does our outer presentation to the world reflect our inner sense of self? So this idea in their tradition of having this specific kind of clothing was their outer representation of their inner sense of self. And the last question that goes with this concept and this principle is, do we feel a sense of gratitude for the beauty of our creation? How do we feel about this body that we have, that we've been given as this wonderful, beautiful creation? So we're going to do another short guided meditation. This is called a metta meditation. You can be seated. You can have your eyes closed if you'd like. We're going to just explore a few areas of the body and see if we can cultivate a deeper sense of gratitude for these specific areas of the body. Okay, so eyes can close if you'd like, and just listen to the sound of my voice. We're just going to go through a few different, this is a shortened version of a full meditation that I have, but we're just going to experience part of it together. So as you feel ready, your eyes are welcome to close or just gaze downward, or you can watch the screen. Take whatever time you need to begin to come into a sense of stillness. Become aware that thoughts may arise during this experience, and that is completely normal. Simply acknowledge thoughts as they arrive, and then invite them to drift by gently, like clouds floating across the sky. Trusting that the thoughts that are needful will return after your meditation. Take a moment to observe if there are any additional adjustments or movements that would allow you to feel just a little more settled, perhaps moving the body in the seat, adjusting the head and the shoulders. And then allow the awareness to come into the eyes. Feel and sense a deep awareness of the eyes. Feel them as full spheres resting in the head. Feel the eyelids resting on the eyes, and even the gentle touch of the eyelashes resting on the eyes. Allow a sense of gratitude to emerge for the gift of sight, for the ability and capacity of the eyes to take in beauty, faces of loved ones, images of peaceful memories, information, and light. Embrace and offer loving kindness to the eyes for all they offer you each day. Take a deep breath into that kindness, and then release the breath, allowing the eyes to gently release any effort or images and slowly come into rest. Allow the awareness to come now to the ears. Feel and sense the shape of the ears. Become attuned to their capacity to take in sound, to hear nuance and tone and colors of sound. Invite a deepening sense of gratitude for their work and capacity each day to receive information, to connect you with the greater world, to hear and connect with others, to listen beyond hearing. Take a deep breath in. Feel light and peace coming into the ears. And then release the breath and slowly allow the ears to come into rest. Feel the awareness now coming into the mouth, sensing the tongue, the teeth, the cheeks. Allowing sensory information to emerge of taste, the capacity to chew, the ability to swallow and take in nourishment and life each day. Invite a deepening sense of gratitude for the ability to speak, to share, to connect with others. Take a deep breath into that awareness. Then gently release the breath, coming into rest. Notice what the sense of gratitude, cultivating awareness for the eyes, the ears, and the mouth. Notice how that feels in your body in this moment. If it feels comfortable for you to allow an invitation to feel a deepening sense of gratitude for other aspects and other functions and areas of the body, then you're welcome to invite that gratitude as well. And then as you feel ready, begin to gently move the fingers and the toes. Drop the head from side to side and slowly allowing the eyes to open. So again, coming back to that idea of that modest dress, how we present and feel on the outside is a reflection of how we feel on the inside. And the more that we cultivate gratitude and awareness for all of the incredible things that our body does for us, then that begins to shine forth in how we interact with the world. So the next concept that they implemented at the temple grounds was this concept of a vegetarian diet. So I don't want to talk about that necessarily specifically, but the concept of what we take in to our bodies. So Angie has done an incredible job of teaching us about our diet and food and nutrition. And as we implement those wonderful principles and in detailed ways, little tiny steps at a time, then we start to feel that sense of connection with the earth and all of the things that connect us with that. But I want you to take a moment to consider what else we take into our bodies and our minds besides just food. Think about what you watch. Think about the things that you read. Think about the environment of your home, of the people that are there, your friends, your job, your employment. Just kind of envision what that means for you, all the things that you're taking in, okay? Now, in the practice of yoga, we have something that we call cultivating the witness. And it's this concept that we want to feel and sense from this place of observation what's happening in our body. So I wanted to just share a little bit about my experience as with chronic pain. So I have a connective tissue disorder, and I've had it since I was born. And it's something that's been a significant challenge for me. And I deal with chronic pain on a pretty regular basis. And one of the things that I've had to learn in that process is how to listen to what my body's telling me and how to connect with it in a way that I can listen without condemning or being frustrated with the fact that it's causing me pain sometimes. So I learned from one of my teachers this concept that's a question that we can practice. So the question is, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So when we have experiences with our body, when we're trying to connect with our bodies and wonder what's happening in our bodies, we can just ask the question, or just reflect, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting what's happening? And then the next question we can ask is, what is my body trying to tell me? And when we start to partner with our bodies like a good friend, and we're trying to really listen to what our body is telling us, then our bodies can really start to communicate with us in kind of deep and effective ways. So we're going to do a little practice. We're going to take one hand. Oh, I'm seeing someone else's screen. Can you see me? Mm-hmm.
Yep, I can still see you, Anna, but Patricia, you've hit the screen sharing button. Let's see.
Oh, maybe I need to do something. Okay, there we go. All right.
There we go. Okay, we're good.
So the other question is, what is my body trying to tell me? So, oh, sorry, we're skipping ahead. Okay. So we're going to place one hand, we're going to take our right hand and place it gently on our heart. And then we're going to place our other hand on top of it. And we're just going to, if you want to close your eyes, you can, or you can just have the eyes stay open. But we're just going to feel and sense what our heartbeat feels like. We're just feeling for that quiet rhythm that's with us every breath of every moment, every day. And we're going to invite that reflection. So the first thing that we can say is, isn't that interesting? I have a heart. I can feel it. I can count the heartbeats. I can sense it working in my body. And then the next question that we can ask is, what is my body trying to tell me? Can you feel your body trying to communicate any message? There's no right or wrong answer here. We're just tapping in and asking that question as a friend, as an advocate. And then you can gently release the hands. If you want to jot down a note to maybe what you noticed, that might be something that you want to journal about or reflect on later. But again, we're just practicing this idea of a witness and being able to observe and offer our bodies and our minds this place of listening, and that we're going to be paying attention to our bodies. All right, so the next concept has to do with the fact that there was lots of singing and chanting at this temple. So we're going to reflect for a moment about what is our inner voice or dialogue. All of us have this kind of running voice that's going through our head. And we can, again, in this point of cultivating the witness of we're watching and reflecting, we can start to tune in and just listen. Listen to this running dialogue and this inner voice. So with that, we're going to ask the question, would you give active voice to your inner dialogue towards someone that you love and cherish? So we're going to ask the question to ourselves, how would I describe my eyes? If you were just thinking, listening into that inner dialogue, how would you describe your eyes? And then we're going to imagine that we're saying it to someone that we love. This is a picture of my 3 children about 12 years ago. So they were just little and cute. My youngest son was just a brand new baby. My middle son was about 4, and my daughter was about 8 years old. So imagine that you're saying those same things about someone that you love, about their eyes. How would you describe their eyes? And notice if there is a discrepancy. How do you feel in that exchange? Is the dialogue that's happening in your head, as it starts to translate out in that singing and chanting, that outward expression of that inner voice, what does that sound like? And would you say the same things that you say to yourself to someone else, that especially someone that you love and cherish? Just consider that. And then we're going to watch this perspective. This is just a short video. There's a little commercial for a second that we'll watch.
I recently got this comment on my blog. You look like you are 70 with your gray hairs. You really should consider dyeing them for TV so you don't look like such an old hag.
Anna, we can't see it.
Oh, you can? Oh, man. Okay. Shoot. I guess we're not going to watch that. It didn't show up on the screen share, huh?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
We can hear her, we just can't see it. So we could still listen.
Yeah, let's listen to it because I think it's pretty powerful. And then Angie posted the link to this video on her Facebook page.
Comment on my blog. You look like you are 70 with your gray hairs. You really should consider dyeing them for TV so you don't look like such an old hag. Just a suggestion. I am 31 years old and I've got a fair amount of gray hair, as you can see. Now, normally I just share recipes, but today I wanted to take a minute to talk about this comment and address it publicly because this is something I feel strongly about. My husband actually feels very strongly that I shouldn't dye my hair. And his reasoning is that he wants us to grow old together. How cute is that? If you read my About Me page, you'll find that I have a rare autoimmune disease that means that I will most likely never live to be 70 years old. Every sign of aging that I have is a sign that I'm still alive. A lot of people don't get the privilege to ever live to be old. And I probably won't either. Which means that I don't have time to waste criticizing myself, and I don't have time to waste criticizing other people.
So that is a wonderful video from a food blogger that Angie shared on her Facebook page. I think it was a couple of weeks ago or last week. And I was so touched by this concept that we don't have time. We don't have time to be critical of ourselves, and we don't have time to be critical of others, because that disconnects us from them. It creates this barrier instead of this connection when we're offering this expression of singing or chanting, that we want to connect, and that inner voice, that inner dialogue can start to shift into a place of gratitude. And then we can start to see ourselves from a place of kindness, of beauty, of wonder, and that helps us to start to see others in that same way. All right, so let's go to the next concept, that we had these quiet grounds around the temple. It was just this kind of surrounding of quiet. So just think about, where do you find silence? Where is it that you find that in your life, in your day? Are there simple changes that you can make to create pockets of stillness or silence in your life? And then what does that feel like? What does that sense of quiet and silence feel like? I wanted to just share a few places that really connect with me. This is a beach in San Diego. I love the ocean. And if you look really closely, there are two women out on paddle boards doing paddleboard yoga. So it's kind of combining my favorite things, the sun, the sand, the water, and yoga. And if you see the pink polka dots at the bottom was a towel that I had taken out to the beach to do my yoga practice that morning. So I love all of the qualities that I can find at the ocean that brings me a deep sense of stillness. We can also consider finding stillness in our work. So this was a picture from when I was working on a project, and sometimes just surrounding ourselves with simple things like a candle, or having a window that we can look at, or a place where we feel supported, that even our work can become kind of this meditative, wonderful experience that we can find a sense of stillness in. This next picture is from my neighborhood. I live in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State, so we have trees everywhere. And this is from my morning walk. Often I'll just walk my dog, and just having 15, 20 minutes of pretty kind of silent space. There might be some cars going by or other people walking their dogs, but taking time to just connect with nature, wherever that is for you and whatever that looks like, can help us to cultivate these layers of silence that give us room for reflection and solitude in our lives. And then I wanted to just share a picture. This is just a sandwich that I made for myself one day, but I remember that how I felt taking time to create this for myself. I'm a busy mother. I've got 3 kids and work and lots of things going on in my life, but there's something really wonderful about this process of connecting with our food. And Angie has shared that and taught me a lot about that. But just the slicing of the tomato, I cooked an organic egg and layered it all together. That little moment, those few minutes when I was preparing this food for myself, became this place of quiet and stillness. So I want to show you and teach you a mudra, which is a hand gesture. And we're just going to see if we can connect with what that feels like in our body and see if we can connect with stillness. I can't see myself on the screen, so I'm having a hard time knowing where I am. But we just take our palms of our hands like this. We tuck our thumbs in, and then we just wrap the fingers gently around the thumbs, and then we place the hands palms down on the body, on the legs or on the lap, whatever feels comfortable to you. So this is called Adi Mudra. This is a gesture of grounding. So if you'd like, you can have the eyes close again, or just take a moment to feel and sense. We're going to be quiet for a minute or two and just feel what that feels like. All right, as you feel ready, just releasing the hands. You can kind of offer a little bit of movement or shake it out. Eyes can open. So just maybe offer a little reflection. Again, you can kind of write down what you've noticed about how it felt for you to be quiet. What that sense of stillness felt like. And again, asking the question, what are some simple changes or things that you can offer yourself in your day and in your life to cultivate just a little more silence? Okay. All right. This next one is kind of a fun concept, I thought. We're going to talk a little bit about the peacocks, okay? So at this, I mentioned before that at this particular temple, there were peacocks everywhere. And the male peacocks were the ones that would just flourish and show their feathers. This is the back side of the temple. And they were just fun. I mean, we were walking around the grounds and there would just be all of these peacocks. So when I started thinking about what does it mean that peacocks are welcome, right, at our temple and in our temple grounds. So just think for a moment about what makes you laugh. What kind of gives you the giggles? What are your favorite childhood memories? What did you love and enjoy about being young, especially when you're thinking about the holiday season? What was it that just kind of lit you up and made you just want to get out of bed every day when you were little? What feels silly and playful to you? What kind of things connect you with that? And what did you love doing when you were small, when you were little, that just brought you some joy? So now we're going to do it together. Are you ready to find your peacock? Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to stand up and we're going to do this together. All right. So we're going to start with just our arms kind of rotating from side to side. And then we're just going to start to spin in a circle. Just spin. And then we'll spin around the other way. And just notice how that feels in your body to kind of explore in a playful way. And one of my favorite things when I was a little girl was skipping. I loved to skip. So we're just going to offer some movement and skip. And notice how that makes you feel. Good. And then we'll jump. Just jump up and down. Let the body kind of follow. All right, now it's your turn. What's your favorite movement? Where does your body want to go? Maybe you want to do some jumping jacks. Maybe you want to just shake. Just find that playfulness. Find that sense of that peacock in your body. Find a way to play. Move. And then make your way back. All right, how are you feeling? What did you notice in that experience? How did that make you feel? Sometimes we need to connect with this sense of play and the sense of wonder that can help us to treat our body with kindness, right? Sometimes when we grow up, we have these silly ideas and we think, oh, I can't do that. I'm too old, or I'm too grown up, or I shouldn't do that. And sometimes, you know, jumping in a puddle outside can just bring us that sense of playfulness and wonder. So next time you have that little thought of, you know, maybe I'll do something with a little whimsy, just think of that image of the peacock and embrace it and see if you can connect with that side of yourself. All right, the next concept that they shared with us again at this temple that there was no shoes in the building. So again, coming back to this idea that our body is a temple, think about what we can do to leave the mud outside. There's a lot of people that have a lot of shoes, and sometimes they want that to come in, right? And that can be challenging, especially during the holidays when sometimes we feel obligated to associate with people that might be challenging for us. And that have issues or maybe have history with. And, you know, just think about that concept that there are parts of those people, the shoes, right, the mud, that we don't need to let inside. We don't need to let that inside of our building, okay? So consider that there might be some rituals that you could establish for yourself that would give you a sense of separation, especially if you really do have to be in the same proximity with someone that might be really challenging for you. And think about what you could offer yourself to connect with that inner temple and to have that sense that the shoes are staying outside the building. So we're going to do a little bit of breath work together, okay, to give us another tool that maybe we can use. So we're going to just take a breath in through the nose, and then we're going to exhale out the mouth like we're blowing in a straw. Okay, now it doesn't have to be a really tight straw. Good. So let's just take 5 breaths together like that. You can close your eyes if it feels good. Let's just notice what happens with that breath. So we inhale through the nose and exhale out the mouth like you're breathing through a straw. Let's do that again. In and out. In and out. Let's do 2 more breaths. In and out. In and out. And then just let that go. And just notice how you're feeling. Notice how it feels on the inside of that temple. Notice if you feel a kind of a deepening awareness of your own space and your own sense of being. Now there's 2 other tools that I'm going to offer you as something that might be helpful in those muddy shoe moments. is just to ask yourself, what color is your breath? Okay, and you can even do that with the breathing in through the nose and out through the straw. But sometimes when we just think, what color is my breath? Right? We're not thinking about bad breath or whatever, but it just gives us an image to connect us to that rhythm. And the last practice that you can try, and we'll do this together, we'll do another 5 breaths, is that we can inhale the image of light and then exhale any darkness or any image that just feels like you want to let that go. Sometimes people like to connect with water. So you can inhale in water and exhale out. Inhale in that peaceful, calm water, and then exhale any waves. Well, let's find what image works for us, whether it's the light, the color, the water, whatever works. And let's just do 5 breaths. You can breathe in the nose and then out the nose if you'd like, or in the nose and then out the mouth, either with the straw or without. Okay, so let's do 5 breaths. Inhale and exhale. In and out. In and out. This is our 4th. In and out. And then the last one, in and out. And then let's just take a moment to come back to that idea of the witness, the ability to observe what's happening. So isn't that interesting, right? Isn't that interesting? And then what is your body trying to say to you in this moment? What is your body saying? And then again, if you'd like to write a reflection that you can refer back to, that would be great. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about this concept that they would open the windows of the temple each day. This is one of my favorite quotes. It says, "A smile is the light in the window of the soul, indicating that the heart is at home." So I love this concept that when we smile, it helps people to connect with our heart. And it shines that light, right? When they would open up those windows every morning, the drapes in the windows that would just let the light of the morning pour in. And we want to connect. When we smile, we connect with this sense of light. And not only that light that can shine from us, but it's really hard to genuinely smile at someone else without them returning that. It's almost like this wonderful reflex that when we start to live with open windows, a little bit of a more open heart with our smile, then we start to connect with others differently, and others start to connect with us with a little bit more light and a little bit more openness, so we can start to see a little bit more of their heart as well. So we're gonna have a practice. You ready? Okay, so this isn't, again, something that you can do, and I'm really not an advocate of that concept of fake it till you make it, but I am an advocate of finding your smile, because I have experienced that even on the most challenging days, even when I'm working through a lot of pain, if I can start to smile and do it from a true place, that place in the heart where I'm opening the windows, that I start to feel differently. And I start to connect with that sense of inner joy, and my windows and my heart start to open to newness and new life. So we're going to practice, okay? So see if you can find your smile, and we're going to smile together. And we're going to keep smiling for a little while, okay? Sometimes we throw a smile in real quick and then we lose it, but we're going to keep smiling, okay? Notice how you're feeling. Maybe you're feeling a little uncomfortable. I don't know. But see if you can feel and sense this little bit of connection with me, with this idea of these windows opening. Getting a little peek into the light that's there, the light in my heart. And then see if you can connect with that light in yourself. What does that feel like? What do you notice when you're opening the windows of your heart in a genuine, true smile? Okay. Did you do it the whole time? How long do you think that was? It was only really a minute. It was just over a minute, but that's maybe a longer time than we smile all the time normally. And so just notice how that feels. Notice how that feels. It lifts our face, it lifts our eyes, and it allows us to open up the windows of our heart. So smile. Okay. All right, the last thing I'd like to talk a little bit about is this idea of the gates. Okay, so when the guests were invited, they had to pass through these gates. And so we need to have a sense of boundary, okay? If we're gonna learn how to treat ourselves with kindness, it's really important that we learn how to cultivate healthy boundaries in our lives. We were talking a little earlier about this idea of the muddy shoes, right? And so we want to recognize and understand that we can cultivate where we begin and where we end. Where are the gates that are around our temple, right? We have this beautiful temple that we're cultivating gratitude for, that we're finding joy, that we're smiling and opening the windows of our heart. And it's important that we protect that with some really healthy boundaries and begin to sense our sphere of responsibility. What are we responsible for? Not only that, but what do we have the capacity within our sphere of influence to change, to really truly effectively change? And what I've learned over a lot of years is that really true change can happen within our temple. We have the capacity to offer change and shift and newness to ourselves. We can facilitate for others, we can allow, we can invite, but we don't have the capacity to change someone else's temple, right? That's theirs, that's theirs. And so we can kind of cultivate this idea of what we have the ability, the responsibility for, and the capability to be responsible for our own experience. And then this might be a little bit of a touchy subject, but think about this idea of that only guests that were invited were allowed to come to this beautiful temple in Austin, Texas. And then you had to be on the list, okay? Part of creating healthy boundaries is recognizing who gets to be on your list. And sometimes it's the most healthy for us to gently but kindly but firmly uninvite certain guests from our immediate sphere of influence. They can be on the periphery, they can drive along the road, they can be, in the next castle over, or not castle, temple over from us, but they're not allowed within that boundary. They're not allowed within that boundary. And, some of us feel like, well, we have to be a part of them, or they have to be a part of our life, or with biology or geography or tradition or whatever it is. But I would just encourage you to consider that you have the ability to create that guest list. And it can change. It can change. We were there for 2 weeks. We were allowed to come in and out of that temple gate. If I were to show up today, even though I was there a year and a half ago, they wouldn't let me in. I'm not on the list anymore. So this idea that the guest list can change is important. And it can help us to treat ourselves with a little bit more kindness and compassion to create those healthy boundaries. So we're going to do a practice together that helps us to really feel a sense of physical boundary. Okay, so we're going to come onto our chair and we're going to sit towards the edge of our chair. If you want to sit on the floor, you can also do that too, or you can actually do this practice standing. Sometimes that helps to connect with that. So we're going to start with the palms of our hands together and just find that breath. If you like some of the imagery that we used with the breathing earlier, you can come back to that. And then we're going to begin to feel and sense and invite this feeling of self. It's either connecting with a breath or an image. Maybe it's an image of a temple that you can imagine in the mind. Maybe it's just a color or a feeling that you connect with that feels like you. And then we're going to begin to breathe. We'll have the arms come alongside. We're going to breathe in and feel that whole image or that color really start to surround that area of the body. And then we'll turn the palms away and really feel and sense that that color or that image or that breath is filling up the space in between the arms. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Fill that space with that color and that image, and then exhale down. Feel it on the sides, and then feel where it ends, that the hands are tracing that physical, tangible boundary. Inhaling up, and then exhale. Good. All right, now we're going to invite one hand to come in front, and the other hand to come in the back. And we're going to inhale, reach the arms up. And then we're going to turn the body and have the other hand in front and the other hand in the back. So we're just feeling the front and the back kind of this beautiful sphere that we're creating, this boundary. Inhaling up. And then we'll switch the arms and exhale down. Do that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Turn and exhale. Reaching the arms down. Good. Now we'll inhale the arms up above the head, and we're going to cultivate the space underneath us. So we're feeling like those hands are reaching all the way down underneath and connecting. All the way underneath the feet, the legs. Good. Even the space underneath that in the earth. Inhaling up. You can close the eyes if you'd like. Just feel that kind of tangible creation of that boundary. Let's do that one more time. Inhale up. And exhale. And I'm going to show you two options for a hand gesture that you can try. Actually, three. You can come back into the gentle fists, resting the hands onto the lap. You can touch the tips of the fingers and then rest the hands gently into the lap. Or you can take the right hand, place it across the chest, and then place the left hand over it. So whatever feels comfortable to you, or you can just rest the hands on the legs. See if you can feel and sense where you are. Where is your space? Where is your temple? Where are you inside of that boundary? And then feel that beautiful gate, seeing it as a protection. You have the guest list. You have the permission to allow people to come in. You have the capacity to allow them and invite them to leave. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then release the hand gesture. Good. How are you feeling? Are you feeling a little differently than you did just an hour ago? Well, I hope that this idea, this image of a temple, helps you to connect with yourself in a place of a little bit more kindness, that you have access to your thoughts. You can consider this gratitude and cultivate that for all that your body can do for you. You can cultivate a witness and just observe what your body is trying to communicate to you. You can find your breath at any moment. You can feel your heartbeat and connect with that. You can play. You can jump in puddles and write with chalk and connect with that sense of joy and wonder. And you can have the capacity within yourself to allow and create boundaries that are healthy and leave the muddy shoes outside your temple. Thank you for sharing your time and your light with me. It's been such a joy. Do any of you have any questions for me? Anything I can help you with? You can unmute yourself if you want to just ask me anything, or you can find a little chat if you don't want to have to ask it. I have a few minutes I can stay on and answer any questions that you might have.
Definitely encourage you guys to ask Anna. She's got a wealth of healing information, so take advantage of it while you can.
I love what I do. Fun.
Yes, and she's very good at it. I call Anna often, huh?
It's all good. It's all good. Any feedback? How are you feeling?
I have a question for you, Anna.
Yeah, who is this?
This is Jenny Bassett.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So that was amazing for me. It was really, really good. But I ended, I had all my gates, and then suddenly all these people appeared inside of my gates, and I'm like, get them out. So I did this great visualization with you, and I was at peace, and then I was like thinking about how peaceful it was, and as soon as I thought about how peaceful it was like suddenly then all these people were in here more than before.
Yeah.
Just advice. I do struggle with that one.
Yeah, it's a challenge for us to really to create boundaries and then have them be firm but loving, right? And we feel like, oh, well, there's an exception, or I really should invite them to this, or I should, be there because it means something to them. And what that happens, I find for me, when I get into that place, I'm not listening to my own voice, right? I'm not asking the question, what is my body telling me? What is my body telling me? What are the things that I need to create a sense of safety and balance and kindness and compassion for myself? Sometimes it's easier to offer that to others, at least for me, than it is to allow that compassion to be all inclusive. And I'm a part of that. I get to practice compassion for myself. And when I allow myself to become a part of that virtuous circle of compassion, then I can see others in a little bit more compassionate way and create boundaries that are loving, but will still allow me to have the boundaries that will serve me in that. Does that help at all?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. That was perfect for me.
You're welcome. It's not easy. It's a practice, and we just come back to it over and over. I do. So.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jenny. Anybody else? I'm just going to sit here and smile at you then. So maybe you'll open your windows. Good. All right. Oh, we got a comment. I feel great. I love the peacock concept. I needed all of this, but especially that. That's awesome. Good. I'm glad. I was going to tell you, I had a little slide. I'll just tell you a funny story. I was thinking about this all day, and I had a doctor's appointment because I have those a lot. And I went into the doctor's office, and they have the kids zone. A lot of times they'll have a place for little kids, and they had a big chalkboard. And I sat down, and I had this little thought, I want to draw on the chalkboard. And there's all these adults sitting, around. And I thought, I can't draw on the chalkboard. I'm a grown woman. And you know what I did? I stood up and drew on the chalkboard until my appointment. And you know what? It was this total peacock moment for me. It was just a few minutes, but it helped me to connect with that. And mostly it was because I had that little voice. I had that little thought, oh, I want to do that. I knew it would bring me just a tiny little bit of joy. And it did. And I don't care what those people think of me. They can think I'm the weird lady that draws on the chalkboard at the doctor's office. And I don't really care because I needed that peacock moment. So thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. Have a little fun. Have some whimsy in your life. And it helps you open those windows a little bit more. Yeah. All right. Anybody else? All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this experience. It's been so fun to be with you. I'm excited to share the meditation and the class with you. Angie's sending out the information on that. So, feel free to email me, connect with me on my website. You can always email me if you have questions as you're moving through your life. I'm here to support you in any way that I can. And I'm so grateful for Angie and for the continued relationship and friendship that we have, and just offering some things that we've learned through our own struggles that can possibly help and lift your life. So I wish you the happiest of holidays, and may you treat yourself with kindness. And thank you. The light in me deeply honors the light in you. Namaste.
Thank you, Anna. I just wanted to quickly share with all of you guys just about some more of the resources. So we'll send out the link to this webinar so that you've got that. If you want to connect with Anna on Facebook, I highly, highly encourage you to do that, because she is a light and she'll bring light into your life every day. She also has a Facebook group, right? Is that under Flowing Tree? If you search for Flowing Tree Yoga, that's an open group that she has that you can join to get some of her resources and her input and her quotes and all of those little inspirations that she has that you can bring into your life. So those are great resources and ways that you can connect with Anna. And I'll try to put some links and stuff in the email for you for that too. Anna also does, as in addition to her online yoga studio, she also does personal sessions where she helps people with, so I believe absolutely in the power of food to heal, but I also believe there's other components to that. And so if you find yourself struggling still with some physical things, Anna is a really great resource, because she can do personal sessions over Skype, over FaceTime, to help your body release trauma, to help your body release old patterns and things, to help you in that physical process of healing. So if you find yourself stuck, Anna's another great resource, and she can do that from a long distance, and she's helped me and a lot of people. So you guys, that's an awesome resource to reach out to her if that's something that would help you in your personal life. So that's why I'm so glad that I can connect you guys with Anna and let you see what she has to offer, because it's such a great balance to the food stuff that I teach. When you put the components together, you get a really whole picture of healing. And so I love having Anna on board to help provide that other side that's so important for all of us as we heal. So thank you, Anna. Thank you for doing that.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, and for the rest of you, we'll stay in touch here as we get all the Christmas stuff out to you this week. Feel free to let us know if you've got other things you need and questions, and we'll do our best to help you. And we wish you all the happiest of holidays and a Merry Christmas. And we will talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye.